Welcome to Butch Maxwell's Complete Waste of Airtime here for Wednesday, July 13th, kind of right smack in the middle of July. And I'm glad to be here along with Lola Miller. Hi, Lola. How you doing today?
I am doing well. Today is a pool day.
Yeah, pool day.
You should be outside by a pool,
Yes.
drinking.
Yeah, the margaritas or whatever,
Yeah,
beer.
hurricanes.
Yeah, hurricanes. Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, it's 84 degrees outside. That's about as warm as it's going to get, maybe 85. And just, kind of partly cloudy or mostly sunny conditions. So, it's good. Yeah, definitely good pool weather. I kind of like it, actually, just having been in Greece and having in the country of Greece, that is, and having enjoyed some beach time and stuff. Sometimes when those clouds roll over in front of the sun, it actually kind of provides a little bit of relief. So I have really kind of one thing on my mind today. But your calls are always welcome. If you want to call in and chime in on what I'm talking about, or if you want to change the subject, that's okay too. You can call on our regular hotline at 304-214-1600 or toll free at 866-514-1600. And that hotline is sponsored by Frio and Stack's Auction Services. So do check that out. 304-214-1600 for either calls or texts. And that's a good local line. And then if you want a toll-free number, we have that too, 866-514-1600. So what I have on my mind is a recap of yesterday's House of Representatives January 6th hearings. Really the headlines here, there are a few things that I want to talk about. It's sort of, there's a lot to unpack here, I think one of the most moving things to me was there was one true believer who described his experience as a former Trump supporter on that fateful day, and I really felt for him. Also, a spokesperson for the Oath Keepers depicts Trump's call for the quote another civil war. And a bizarre shouting match in the White House over a plan to confiscate voting machines. And also why Rudy Giuliani had to be escorted from the White House on January 5th. Sort of in related news too, I'd like to open up the discussion to maybe look at some of the evidence that's maybe, not a great many, but some Republicans are finally starting to distance themselves from Donald Trump. So those are the sorts of things that I have on my agenda, on my mind over the next hour or so. But if you have something different that you'd like to talk about, we're all about community service here, so I'd be happy to take your call. Again, those numbers are 304-214-1600. Or if you are out of town, you want to use the toll-free number, it's 866-514-1600. And both of those lines are sponsored by the Frio and Stack Auction Services. So good. So if you didn't see the hearings yesterday, I know Lola's plans were foiled. You want to talk about that?
It's hard to find the
daytime ones.
Yes, to set a recording for.
Yeah, and you're here.
CNN has been having them on. Now, granted. Mm-hmm. It blocks up a whole chunk of your DVR because they have, on average, 2 hours of talking heads before that. Now, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't, you can rehash all that crap all you want. It's the same stuff every day. But I always just zap to the very beginning of the hearing and leave it at that. Well, so last night, I decided, all right, I'm in a kind of yucky mood. I'm going to get really angry here and watch this. So I start zapping 1 hour. Yep, talking heads. 2 hours, talking heads. 3, 4 hours. 5 hours of time. They must have gone in at 4 o'clock in the morning to start this. The last 3 minutes of 5 hours was when everybody finally trooped in and
you got the
sat
introductions.
down and got their bottles of water.
Or
their drinks, depending on who it was. And so I was just absolutely livid. So I have canceled CNN. I'm going to just, because then I went to YouTube, and C-SPAN had it up,
Yeah.
you know. And granted, there was an hour you had to kind of zap through, but
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
okay. Crystal clear on my iPad right in front of me. I could actually read what was on the screen, which I can't do when it's on the TV.
Yeah, they had some
necessarily.
documents and stuff, right?
So that's how I was.
Yeah, yeah.
Was-
Well, I like C-SPAN in that it's unfiltered,
Yeah.
just without
You're
commentary.
Not getting
Yeah.
all these opinions
Right.
of people that you don't, A, know who they are,
Yeah.
and B, you really don't care what they think.
No, it's,
You know.
just, so that's a good service. And there are no commercials, too, so,
Yeah,
so-
well, they haven't been, until the committee takes a recess, they haven't been.
The commercial networks haven't done
No, I really thought they would do it like they do with professional sports, where they leave the action in one little corner of the TV,
Yeah.
and they go to another little corner for the ad.
Yeah,
They haven't
yeah.
been doing
No,
that.
no, that,
But who
there's,
advertises on CNN anyway,
Well.
besides, old people, life
yeah,
insurance?
life insurance, Medicare expansion,
Yes,
or,
so,
or prescription drugs, basically, yeah.
yeah.
Well, if you didn't check it out through C-SPAN or other sources, there were a number of things that happened. I sort of recapped them at the top of the hour, but what we got a picture of yesterday was the sort of the time period and this was the 7th in a series of House panels investigating. Now, remember, the House panel, they don't really have any teeth as far as, there's no legal implications for anything they do. They can't, they could advise, but they're a legislative branch. This is a legislative branch investigation, and all they can hope to do is maybe make recommendations, but that would have to go over to the executive branch to
It has to go to the
judicial.
to the Department of Justice.
Department of Justice, which is in the executive branch. So what they focused on yesterday was the timeline between December 14th, 2020 and January 6th, 2021, which December 14th was when the Electoral College formally voted, and then January 6th, of course, was the time in which the vote was to be certified. And, we all know what happened. Congress was attacked. And in fact, the whole thing was interrupted by this incursion into the Capitol. Okay, so we have a caller already. Who do we have here, Lola?
This is Durbin.
Hey, Durbin? Durbin, are you there?
Yeah, now I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
How you
Go
doing?
ahead.
How you
Well,
doing? I just wanted to see, did you want to talk about this, or did you have something else in mind?
Now, this is the only thing I get excited about is politics.
Okay.
The only thing I can say is I'm a Republican, and I wasn't for what happened in Washington D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Would I vote for Trump again? No, I would not. I mean, as far as I like DeSantis, but here's my problem with this whole schmeal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, would you even listen to them Democrats and what's her face, the Cheney girl, and the guy that's got the curly hair that rides bicycles?
Yeah.
They say, we're gonna do this. We're gonna tell you a story, and that's what it is. It's a story. Why did they go to a gentleman out in Hollywood to produce this thing? I mean, they're reading off a telemarketer. It's every word. It's programmed, and it's not informative, really. I mean, I haven't really seen anything that to get excited about. Not like Watergate was back in the old days. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the general point that the House committee seems to be moving towards trying to convince us of is that Donald Trump was an instigator, an inciter of the January 6th incursion, and so they're trying to provide evidence for that. And I don't know that I think I can honestly question whether or not they've got bulletproof evidence, but there's an awful lot of circumstantial evidence leading up to it.
Right. Well, the thing I look at it this way: do you really think that most of the people that vote well, I can't say most of the people but I'm saying that the majority of people are grown adults. That they make their own decisions. And I don't need any of those people sitting up there wasting money and time with the way the hell things are going in our country doing something like this. This ought to be on in the evening, like a soap opera. I mean, Liz Cheney ought to be on. Every one of them up there ought to be honest and ask, do you like Donald Trump as a person? And all of them are going to say, oh, I hate him. He's a scumbag. And I would have more respect for him. But it's like it's programmed. You know, it just doesn't get it with me. I mean, you know, it's not down. They ain't my type of people sitting up there. I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, you know, I believe this. Just remember the movie The Jerk.
Sure. Yeah. The Jerk.
Right.
Yeah.
You remember when he stepped in it and his dad said to him, "This is Sinola, and that's that."
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. I know what you're saying.
Right. And that's all I'm saying is that, you know, it's just pathetic. And if I was running D.C., I'd fire all of them. I mean, there ain't too many down there that's worth their salt. And I hope that we do get some younger people in both parties in there that turn this country around. I mean, because what's going on now with Joe, he don't even know what country he's in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
I really feel sorry for him. I do. I mean, because he really thinks he is, you know, and I see him on TV there a little bit ago, and he's slapping backs, and he's happy. Why don't they just make him an ambassador of goodwill and, you know, move on? I mean,
Okay. Yeah. Durbin, one thing that intrigues me about your position as a conservative Republican, there's been a new national poll from the New York Times and Siena College that was just released yesterday, and it said that, you know, that support for Trump within the GOP seems to be slipping for the first time ever. There was a hypothetical field, just, just like what if you were voting today? Who would you like? Trump, and this is among Republicans. Trump, DeSantis, Cruz, Mike Pence, maybe Nikki Haley. And the only people that received double-digit support were Trump and DeSantis. And Trump still leads the field with 49%, and DeSantis came up with 25%. So, which is significant. A significant gain for DeSantis. So I don't know. What do you think about this? Do you think you're sort of in the mainstream with Republicans and saying, you know what, I haven't changed my ideals, but I don't want to vote for that guy again?
Well, I don't know if I'm in the mainstream, and I'll be honest with you, I never cared for a click in my life. But what I will say to you is this. It's my vote one way or another. And if you had a good Democrat running, I'm not going to tell you I would not vote for him. Okay? I mean, as far as that goes, but I will be honest with you, I tend to sway towards the Republican thoughts and theories. And I used to be a Democrat for years. I really was. But, as time went on and I seen some of the things and that, not that I'm smarter than anybody else, but I chose to go to the Republican side.
Yeah.
Now, here's a kicker for me. That nut from Pretty Boy out there from California, what's his name? You know who I'm talking about.
The governor, right, yeah.
Yeah. He's wanting people to move from Florida to his state, California. Did you see that mess and squalor on the streets out there?
I didn't.
With all them needles?
I didn't see it, but I can take
your word. It's really sad. It's sad for them people that are laying there in that squalor doing drugs, and then them little kids got off the school bus and had to walk through that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and for him to tell people, come to California, things are a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, let him be honest there again. Come to California so we can tax you because we got to pay for this somehow. And he's a bum. I mean, that's another thing. I'll tell you what, for every Mexican and people that come from Guatemala, what we're going to do is swap out here. We're going to let them come in and take one of these Democrats and Republicans that ain't worth a hoot and ship them to their country. Because if it keeps going like it is, that's what this country's going to be. You see what I'm saying? And these are all college-educated people. I have to tell you, Mr. Maxwell. You know what I mean? I mean, now that's what we're producing out of our schools. Not now, but back in that generation. So
Yeah, yeah.
see, you got me wound up now. I'm going to take a blood pressure pill.
Okay, okay. Well, I don't want you to get too wound up, Durbin, because because you're one of my favorite callers, even though we don't
Yeah.
agree on much. But I do appreciate your call and your input here. And
Joy, go ahead.
Oh,
The only thing,
go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Governor Gavin Newsom is duly noted as not one of your favorite people.
no, but I mean, do you really think that he should be running a country for what he's done in California?
No, well, I think California's a mess. My daughter lives out there. You're not going to get a serious disagreement with me, about that. But they've just been a mess, and I don't think it's all Gavin Newsom. I think it's just crazy.
It's California politics. That's
is,
what it
yeah.
is. It is a mess
Well-
across the board.
It is definitely
Right.
terrible schools. It's just a big mess.
But look at what's going on in New York. That bodega guy, he gets mugged by that guy. They get at the mug tussle, and he winds up killing the guy that was slapping him around. So he's dead. The guy's girlfriend stabbed the bodega guy 3 times. This guy goes to jail, and she's walking scot-free. Now, you tell me that really makes a lot of sense.
I don't know the story. I really can't comment on that.
Oh, I'll tell you, there's one you really need to look into because it's just amazing. I'll
Okay.
be honest with you. I'm thankful that we live in the Ohio Valley because overall, it's a pretty dang good place to live.
I agree with you there, Durbin. Absolutely. Maybe that's a good note to end it on.
Hey, okay, old buddy.
All
Well, you
right.
take care. I miss talking to you. I'll
I-
get back to you one of these days.
I appreciate your call. Thank you so much, Durbin. Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if, I've seen this in the media a lot where they're predicting that Trump is not going to get the endorsement of a large number of Republicans. So, I don't know, just a little bit of anecdotal research on that.
The
Yeah,
thing with the polls is people are still up in arms, and so because of these hearings and all, oh yeah, I would vote for him. But I think when push comes to shove,
Yeah.
particularly if there's a viable candidate
yeah,
behind him, people aren't, everybody lies with a poll. They really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Exit polls, they lie. All these other polls, and it depends on who you're talking to, who you're polling, what the questions
what the
are.
question is, definitely, yes.
So,
Yeah, Yeah.
anybody that relies on polls,
yeah.
needs their headaches.
Yeah,
I
sure.
was going to say something else, but, all right.
Yeah, we got a call
You're-
from
Oh, your buddy,
my buddy.
Tom.
Hey, Tom.
I wait all week for this.
All right.
I wish they would at least give you an hour and a half or something. What's going on there? Anyhow.
Well, Bill came back, so we're glad to have Bill back. Right?
Well, no, I'm glad to have Bill back. But it's just they could find a little bit more time period, in my opinion. But I get this thing on my phone. It's like a Google search thing, and then you hit the G, and then it's got like Channel 7 news and stuff, and then you delve into it further. So it had this thing, and Donald Trump was at the rally, and I didn't play the video, one, because it uses data, plus I really don't want to hear the guy's voice much more, even though I voted for him the first time. But anyhow, he's at a rally, and he said, that Elon Musk, he's a BS guy. He didn't say BS.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, all right. So there's Elon Musk. I don't know how many billions of dollars he's worth. I mean, maybe he does gouge you a little bit on PayPal. But, all right, so he invented a rocket. It can take off, go up into space, take stuff to the space station. The rocket comes back down on the same pad that he left from, okay? And he invents this electric car. Not him, but, his
right.
group or whoever invents that car, which, by the way, it's made out of plastic, a lot of it. I mean, I watched this thing when they first came out with it, and they had a panel, and just like these plastic panels snap together.
Yeah.
And he says, they had it laying there, this big panel, like 1/3 of the car. And he says, here's a sledgehammer. Try and break it. And they were sitting there smashing this thing. It wouldn't even dent stuff. I mean, I don't know that that's exactly what they're making these cars out of, but in any event. Okay, so then there's Donald Trump. He borrows a bunch of money from all these banksters and stuff, starts a couple casinos, files for bankruptcy. The casinos are probably boarded up, or it's a flea market by now or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's a reality TV show star, and he's making fun of Elon Musk, who's generated billions.
Yeah, how much more successful can you be than that guy? Elon Musk should be president, in my opinion, but I don't think he's got time for it.
No, I wouldn't care for that either. But your point about the ridiculousness of Trump. I think Trump said that he could get Elon Musk to get down on his knees in front of him, and that's just the hubris is just incredible, isn't it?
I don't even know how to respond to that, but okay. So these people granted, some of those people at the Capitol were just like, they parked their Winnebago and took a Uber in there, you know what I mean? Because they couldn't even get into town or something. I mean, they just were there for something to do. And then you had the other crazies who some of them, I mean, were inspired by the FBI, believe it or not. I mean, the FBI was like, following these guys all along, giving them money and stuff. I mean, there was some cases of that. And you're really not going to hear a whole lot of that. I mean, I actually heard it on the New Yorker and NPR, a show about this. But anyhow.
No, I'm not familiar with that, Tom. But if you I'm happy to research it though, and check into it.
Well, but the FBI does that. They infiltrate these groups.
Oh yeah.
And then they say, yeah, we can get you grenades. We can get you grenades, and then they don't have grenades.
Oh,
and
yeah.
next thing you know, they're sitting in Leavenworth saying, yeah, man, I wish I had those grenades.
Yeah.
But
that's a sting, and that's what law enforcement
yeah,
does.
Yeah. Okay, but so then they're saying Antifa was involved. The closest I saw to Antifa, I remember when this was going on, I saw some black guy walking around with the Skittles jacket on. Remember that kid Trayvon Martin had Skittles. Yeah. But I mean,
no, these guys had red hats on. They were clearly not Antifa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were they Antifa? All right, but
they were clearly not Antifa, is what I'm saying. They were clearly MAGA people.
But there were people doing bad things, smashing windows out. Okay, so let's take this, guys. They're going to serve their 90 days or whatever and 2 years probation. Okay, well, it's all said and done. Let's just have about 20 people shooting bear spray at them when they're walking out of the courturse or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Not give them any water or anything.
Yeah,
but
that's incredible.
Anyhow, that's my rant for the day.
Hey, that's good.
Good to hear from you again.
It's good to hear from you too, Tom. I learned something new. I didn't know that you had voted for Trump in the first election. So in his first.
Well, yeah. I mean, I really would not want a Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I can appreciate
whatever,
that.
But,
it was two unpopular choices to make there. Yeah.
But as far as I feel, the fact that I don't get cable and I get the Ohio channel, which shows hearings in our state house and that sort of thing. I mean. At least I get that much, and it costs me absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Although I probably should give money to NPR once in a while, or our local public radio station. The end.
All right. Hey, Tom, thanks so much for your call. Call again sometime soon. All right, we are a little late on taking a break, so we're going to do that. And when we come back, I do want to talk a little bit more about these hearings, including the testimony of a former believer who I thought really it was kind of a very touching thing, and also a spokesperson for the Oath Keepers who actually sort of seemed to have, rejected the Kool-Aid that he drank. So we'll talk about that and some other issues. And again, your calls are welcome. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with more of Butch Maxwell's Complete Waste of Airtime here on the Watchdog Network.
Progressive presents the Sports Flash, powered by the Score app on the Watchdog. I'm John Thayer. The 150th Open Championship is set to get underway tomorrow at St. Andrews Old Course. Rory McIlroy knows you have to be careful around the greens.
I think if you hit a lot of drivers, you may get too close to some of these greens, and then it would be advantageous to lay back and give yourself fuller wedge shots into some of these greens.
McIlroy also shared his confidence for the event.
Look, I'm playing well. I'm in good form. My confidence in my game's as high as it's been in quite a while. So, I can't go in here thinking that this might be my time. I just have to go out and play a really good tournament.
Round 1 is underway tomorrow. For lightning-fast sports updates as they happen, download the free Score app today. I'm John Thayer with the Sports Flash, powered by the Score app on the Watchdog.
Welcome to the Everyday Hotel. You'll be on the second floor, and your other room will be on the 14th.
Wait, we asked for connecting rooms? These are 12 floors apart.
We tried, ma'am, but technically they're only 11 floors apart. We don't have a 13th floor.
We can't be 11 floors away from our kids.
I don't see a problem.
Stuart!
When you want separate rooms, but not that separate, it matters where you stay. Only Hilton offers confirmed connecting rooms at the time of booking. Hilton, for the stay.
Something you probably do know. Progressive can not only offer you a great price when you bundle home and auto, they offer you round-the-clock protection. Something you probably don't know, the average garage door is made up of 1.3 millimeter aluminum panels. Something you probably do know, your neighbor likes to tinker with his dirt bike. Something you probably don't know, a runaway dirt bike can take out your garage door and a good portion of your car bumper. Bundle your home and auto with Progressive and get more than a great price. Get round-the-clock protection. Something you know for the things you don't know. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up, do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754 to schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
Hey, it's Jensen Lewis. As a Major League pitcher, I had to read the signs. When it's the bottom of the ninth and you're looking at a full count with the bases loaded, you have to throw the right pitch. Throw a good pitch, we're out of this jam. Throw a bad pitch, and it's the end of the game. Do you know what to do if your car gets stuck on the tracks? Get out of your vehicle. There's no train approaching. Find the blue and white sign at the crossing and call the number listed. No sign? It's easy. Call 911.
Do you know what to do if you're stuck on the railroad crossing? Get out of your vehicle. If a train is not approaching, find the blue and white emergency notification system sign on the traffic signs at the crossing. For help, call the number on the sign and give them the crossing number so they know your location and can alert train traffic. Remember, find the blue and white to save your life. For more information, visit oli.org.
I'm Josh from Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. I hope you are staying healthy. We continue to respond to structural, fire, and water emergencies. We are combating COVID-19 with our highly trained staff and latest disinfection systems, providing preventative and reactive disinfection to facilities around the region, while working with area hospitals on isolation areas and air filtering. At Panhandle, we continue to follow social distancing and hygiene protocols. We are dedicated to our community, and together we will get through this.
Refresh your home's exterior and enjoy it all summer with Menards' huge selection of concrete landscape blocks. There's no limit to what you can create, from patios, retaining walls, fire pits, and more. Visit your local Menards or menards.com to get a free estimate today. Save 11% on everything for your next project now at Menards. Good through July 17th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Hey man, what can I get you?
Yeah, can I have 2 Coors Lights?
You got it. Hey Mike! I need 2 Coors Lights!
Sure thing. With a taste as cold as the Rockies, only Coors Light gives you refreshment every time.
Here you go.
Thanks, Mike. Doing a great job. All right, 2 ice-cold Coors Lights.
That's the coldest beer I've ever had.
Hey, they don't call it the world's most refreshing beer for nothing.
Okay, be honest with me. Do you really have the Rocky Mountains in your beer cooler?
You don't believe it? Check it out.
Man, that's pretty amazing.
I know, right? I can't believe it myself sometimes. I mean, this cooler is only 3 feet wide.
Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
Hi, it's Howard Monroe. When you join the Watchdog Morning Show every weekday morning, we have a complete team working for you. WTRF TV7 provides local news. The Ohio News Network and West Virginia Metro News provide the regional coverage, and we have ABC News at the top of the hour every hour. Plus, Bill DeFabio's local sports report, Tony Caridi's Mountaineer report, and Aaron Myler has the Storm Tracker 7 forecast. Join Bob Slider and me every weekday morning at 7. The Watchdog Morning Show right here.
And you're rocking with Butch Maxwell and the complete waste of airtime here for Wednesday. This is July 13th. And glad to have you aboard. We've been talking a little bit about what went on yesterday in the House hearings. And I think one of the most amazing moments came when Stephen Ayers, a rioter who pleaded guilty to entering the Capitol, told the committee that he only went there because the president urged him to do so in his speech. There was also another guy, Jason von Tattenhove, a former spokesman for the Oath Keepers, who had some pretty remarkable things to say. Van Tattenhove said it was going to be an armed revolution. People died that day. There was gallows that was set up. This could have been the spark that started a new civil war. And he even said he was concerned for the future if there's no reckoning for what happens. This is the Oath Keepers guy saying this. If the president tries to instill and encourage, whip up a civil war among his followers using lies, deceit, and snake oil, regardless of the human impact, what else is he going to do if he gets elected again? This is the former spokesperson for the Oath Keepers speaking yesterday. All right, we have a call. Who's calling? Who do we have here?
This is Bill.
Bill. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Butch. Everyday people, they're worried about putting gas in the car, putting food on the table, paying their house rent, everything.
Yep.
They don't care about this witch hunt nonsense that's going on. Because, Jim Jordan wasn't allowed to be on the panel. Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't allowed to be on the panel. These two people would have challenged anything that's said. There's no challenge here. Just like that one guy said, it's a soap opera. It's nonsense. It's a witch hunt just to try and discredit Trump. He's not the president now. Joe Potato's the president.
Should we ignore if the president, if any president does something that like inciting a riot in order to overthrow an election? Should we just ignore that and just let it go?
Butch, why wasn't there National Guard on the scene? Why wasn't there more?
Because the National Guard, well, first of all, the National Guard, the president would have to call out the National Guard in Washington, D.C., and they weren't going to do that. He in fact, went, it was clear, in fact, if you'd been paying attention, wait a minute, Bill, I'll finish and then I'll let you talk. I'm fine, I'm fine, Bill, but I want to make a point and then you can talk.
You got to slow down, bub.
All right. Slow enough for you,
Go ahead.
Bill?
Go ahead.
All right. If you'd been paying attention to the hearings, then you would have.
It's a witch hunt.
It would have been very clear to you that Donald Trump incited a riot with the intention of overthrowing the federal government. And this is serious business. And yes, I know coffee table issues are much more important to listeners, the inflation, things like that. Well, yeah, I'm talking about the issues that you brought up, inflation, et cetera. That's very, very important. But preserving our democracy is something that we can actually do something about. I can't really do anything about the cost of gasoline, but I can do something about who represents me.
You did your part by voting for Biden, by causing the price to rise.
Well,
you did your part.
Did Biden raise prices all over the world? Because I just went to Greece, where prices are $10 a gallon
we don't
over
live
there.
in Greece, Butch. We live here.
Yeah, I know, but prices are high everywhere. This is worldwide inflation. How did the President of the United States cause worldwide inflation? Tell me that, Bill.
He didn't.
He didn't. Okay.
Well, in a way, he did. But let's look here. There was 275 riots prior to January 6th all over the country. Remember that? Burning and looting and taking parts of cities. Nothing was done to any of those people. Not a one of them spent a minute in jail. Why is that? Why don't we have an investigation into that?
You don't know that they didn't. You don't know that they didn't. No, you
Hey, you
only
know what
know
you
what
said
you've
last
heard
week?
on network TV. You weren't in Seattle. You weren't in the other cities where these things occurred. You have no idea how many people were prosecuted. You just don't. None of us do.
Nobody do.
Oh,
Okay,
you baloney.
Here's what you said last week. You still there?
I am.
Well, okay, Butch. She said,
Oh, she said,
you better
okay.
watch out what you vote for, because if you don't have Biden in there as president, you'll have Pelosi or Camel Toe. Well, that tells me you don't even trust your own representative.
No, what I'm saying, Bill, what I'm saying is you guys all want to do this impeachment thing. He ought to be gone. Be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm saying.
Because you'll get camel toes and...
Well, and you're saying that, not me. You're saying that, not me.
What you're wishing for, that's
No, that's not what I said. I said what you wish for.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute now.
Bill, I would...
Who's next in line? Who's next in line?
Kamala Harris, and please don't use sexist
All right, how about
language.
the House drinker? How about the House drinker? Is that all right?
Okay, I'm tired of the
that's-
name calling. We'll see you later, Bill.
Okay. I
can't.
I know. It's I hate it when it degenerates into that. I mean, I really would like to some callers we can engage in
Durbin had
Durbin,
valid points.
Yes, Durbin.
Tom,
Tom
well,
has valid points.
well,
Bill, just you need to calm down a little, and then call me back when you're calmer sometime, and that's fine. I want to let you talk, and I want to hear opposing points of view, but it's got to be within.
It has to be kind of factual.
It has to be factual.
At least a kernel of truth in there somewhere.
Something like that. Yeah. So continuing with this, with what went on with this thing that doesn't interest Bill, but this is an important. This is an important topic because we can do something about the way our government works. We still have a representative republic, a democracy of some sort, not a pure democracy, but we, in theory at least, can vote to change things. That's all we have. That's really all we have. That and our voices to speak out. So I use this forum to talk about what's on my mind, and I try to encourage people to pipe in too. And I am outraged. I am outraged at the former president's actions, especially leading up to January 6th. In the early hours of December 19th, shortly after a group left the White House, a group of people, including White House counsel Pat Cipollone, who told the president that these people that he had gathered for this meeting that went on for 8 hours and included people like Sidney Powell and others, here was the plan. What they were going to do is confiscate all of the voting machines in the contested states. The federal government would confiscate those. Cipollone told him, "You are crazy. That you cannot do that. That's illegal. That's ridiculous, and that won't solve anything." Trump was frustrated that the White House counsel told him he couldn't do that. So then he tweeted after they left, "Big protest in D.C. on January 6th. Be there. Will be wild." Now that alone doesn't mean much, but then what we learned yesterday was that he had hatched a plan to go to get people to march on the rally. We know that he wanted to let in people who were armed by dismantling the machines, the magnetometers that can detect when people are armed in a crowd, and that he was going to encourage them to go to the Capitol, even though that was not part of the permit for their. Remember, that rally was on the White House. It's a long way away from the Congress building. So, so we know that he had this plan, and he kept it secret from people, and people that were that he was listening to were people like Ollie Alexander and Alex Jones. It's just incredible. And here's the thing: people died. People died in this. Fortunately, democracy didn't die this time, but people did die. There was a tweet that Trump allegedly made that they stopped him. His White House counsel stopped him from sending out. It said, "I will be making a big speech at 10 a.m. on January 6th at the Ellipse," which is south of the White House. "Please arrive early. Massive crowds expected. March to the Capitol after. Stop the steal!" 2 exclamation points. Apparently, he did not send that. But getting back to this guy, this Ayers, did you see any of him, Lola, at all? It seemed really sincere. He was what we call a true believer. He liked Donald Trump. He believed in him clear up to the end. He thought he heard Donald Trump call people to the rally, and he wanted to go to show his support. And he said that there was actually no plan to go to the Capitol building. Basically, the president, though, got everybody riled up and told everybody to head on down. And he said that he would be there. Ayers said he left the Capitol when Trump tweeted at 4:17 p.m., about 3 hours after this started, urging rioters to go home, and said if Trump had tweeted earlier in the day that the riot may not have happened. Ayers said it definitely dispersed part of the crowd. We left right after that. Ayers said that he trusted Trump after the election, a decision that led to his criminal charges and resulted in the loss of his job and his home. The loss of his job and his home. He has now taken the horse blinders off, he said. I was hanging on every word he was saying. And Ayers also paused after the hearing to apologize one by one to the Capitol police officers who were there in the hearing room for his participation in the riot. Now, I don't know whether they were well received or not, but I got to tell you, watching him, I felt really bad. Here was a guy who was duped. I mean, there's really no other good word for it. He was taken in by a con man, by a demagogue, and he was a true believer. He's not anymore.
Well,
yeah.
Just, first of all, he was a sacrificial goat. I felt bad for him being trotted up there, in front of the entire country, to make these. And the second is, he's an adult.
Yeah.
Now, all right, you go to the Capitol, that's one thing. Oh, yeah, we're going to go. I've been in many marches, many.
Right.
And I'd like to think that I would, even at 16, 17, 18, when I was really into all that kind of stuff, I would have had the sense that, okay, I've gone, I've yelled, I've cheered, I've done, but I would not vandalize and get involved in the melee that happened, and he did.
Yes.
He went on in there.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing full well that he was violating every law. There comes a choice, as an adult, we have to make a decision about what is right and wrong.
Right.
And I don't care if you've got, it's like the herd mentality. Well, I was all swept up and, all this. Well, at some point, common sense has to step in. And, do I feel bad he lost all this stuff? Yeah, but he should have known better.
Yeah, and he did. He was tried and convicted, and he served for that. Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's an adult, and he should be responsible. But also, I think as an empathetic person, we can understand how people could get caught up in that.
I agree.
The video they had of him inside the Capitol too, he looked like he was just kind of befuddled, like he was sort of just walking in there and he's looking around.
He bashed a door open.
Did he? Oh, okay.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
It's not like
okay.
He didn't just kind of follow
All right.
somebody and going, let me hook onto your belt loop so I don't get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. That I didn't know that he'd smashed it and that he'd actually done some vandalism himself. But yeah, it's still. I don't know. I'm the eternal optimist, Lola, and it just gave me a little bit of heart, a little bit of hope that even the Bills of this world might come around to to being reasonable.
Just keep on. Fairy tales will come true if you. The other guy, on the other hand.
Yeah, the Oath Keepers guy. Yeah.
Now he kind of, I'm kind of torn on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
He got hired by them to be media or something like that. So it's not like he jumped in as one of the guys running out in the woods, shooting paintballs at each other. It was a job.
Right.
It was a job.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that. Now, am I sympathetic to him? Not necessarily, but how you're watching this thing unfold, and it's like, did you hear any of the testimony from the Twitter employee?
No, I didn't hear that. No.
All right, Twitter is equally to blame for all of this.
Oh, yeah.
Because this guy worked at Twitter, and he was one of the ones that was, his job was to monitor conversations for escalation of things. And he started long before telling people, telling Twitter, you've got to watch what is being put out there, not only by Trump, but Trump's supporters and these other equally, I consider, really evil groups, because it's escalating. And once the election happened, the escalation just grew rapidly.
Yeah.
And he kept trying to tell Twitter, you've got to do something. We have got to stop allowing all these things to go out because they're using this to plan. They're talking about guns and bombs and weapons.
And nobody at Twitter paid any attention.
Oh, no, because Twitter was all the rage. Oh, we got to, that's where everything's happening.
And then on January 7th, Trump lost his account on Twitter.
Oh, well, isn't that big of Twitter? After everything happened. And so, but this guy that worked for the Oath Keepers, he knew too.
Yeah.
He kept, it was starting to really, that's why he quit.
Yeah.
Because he saw this escalation. He knew what was coming.
Yeah.
He knew the rhetoric that was coming out and the planning between not Trump's people, like that Ohio guy, but real honest to God militias, that were.
There were two different, distinctly different factions. There were the militia people, who were actually trained and pretty dangerous, and then there was the Trump true believers, like the Ohio.
The herd.
Yeah.
The herd.
Yeah. And what Trump was trying to do was use those people who had some expertise in really, frankly, war technique, and trying to use the rest of the people as sort of a club, just to try to it was reinforcements for the Proud Boys. One of the and we got to go in a second, but there was a stunning coda to yesterday's hearing too. Vice Chair Liz Cheney, remind you, Republican from Wyoming, she said that Trump had placed a call to a witness that they have not yet seen in the hearings in a possible case of attempted tampering that has been referred to the Justice Department. So Donald Trump calls up a witness, I think for something to happen to you. Some bad things might be happening to you or something like that. So, so stay tuned. Stay tuned, folks. Well, listen, if I've succeeded in wasting an hour of your time, then I guess it's a job well done. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate it. I'll be back here next Wednesday to irritate the Bills of the world, and I look forward to it. Thanks and take care. And my final words, so there.